Larry, thanks for meeting with me today. Like we talked about on the phone, today I just want to go over an analysis of what people see of you in the marketplace, not just on Dex, but in Google and any other of the places where they might search. And take a look at what's best working for you, because you can spend money anywhere, but you want to do it as effectively as possible. And with us, you have print, you're doing some website work with us as well, but I want to take a look, like I said, at the scope and see what's right for you. Find where your customers are looking for you, how they're finding you, when they're finding you, and what that conversion rate actually is, and how we can help you with that. So what I did was just take a shot of a Google search and look at where you're at on a map in Rochester. Now there's lots of other businesses here. You can see Haley's here. You can also see Rochester Fireplaces here. Which one of these guys is your biggest competitor?
Haley's, I think, is, they're both competitors, but Haley's is huge.
Okay, Haley's. And what makes you different than Haley's?
We just have a higher level of service. I mean, we've been at it a long time, but I think our guys are better trained. Our install process is more complete, more cleaner, and I think in the end we just have a lot better finished product.
Okay. Well, my job is to help you set yourself apart and make sure that you're communicating and telling a good story to your clients to make sure that they will pick you over Haley's. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Okay.
Now, has anybody ever talked to you about how Google's set up?
Well, I mean, I use them a little bit, but I'm assuming that you just put messages there somehow.
Well, for Google, there's really two main parts. There's paid search, or you turning on a microwave and saying, oh, that's where I want to be, and you'll instantly be there. And there's also organic search, which is like, you're growing crops and you don't have to put any chemicals or anything like that on it to add it. It's your website doing it for itself. And so that's how organic. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Now, what we want to do is make sure that if somebody's doing Google search in your area, that you stand out and you're different. Now, nobody can guarantee you any placement on Google, but we want to make sure that you're there as much as possible and that you're setting yourself apart. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I did a Google search of just fireplaces in southeastern Minnesota, I found that you're not actually turning up there. And so, really, what areas are you trying to serve?
Well, primarily within a, say, 50-mile radius of here is pretty much where we do most of our business. So I don't necessarily want to go all the way to Owatonna.
Sure.
But we'll go out to Winona, and we'll go up to, the lower end of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, certainly up to, Pine Island and Orinoco, and then down south to, say, Stewartville and past there.
Okay. And right now, what are you doing to advertise in those areas?
Well, we've got a website, and we do business with you, and we do some sponsorships, some sports teams, and every once in a while we'll do some local newspaper, or whatever sort of makes sense.
Now, how effective has the newspapers and the sponsorships been for you?
Well, sponsorships are more relationships. There's people in there that we know, that builders and people whose kids play, and so that keeps us in tight with them. But newspaper, it's hard to say. It just it's not like it's not like it used to be. But I guess we've just done it because we've always done it.
Absolutely. The key to marketing now, it used to be where you could just get in the book and then that's all the marketing you'd have to do, is just make sure your phone number is there. Nowadays, the marketing is constantly fragmenting, and there's a million different places where you can be. The key that I would like to help you out with and partner with you in the future is picking the ones that's going to bring you the biggest return on your investment. Does that sound good to you?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I did a little search. We talked about your website a little bit on how that's some of the marketing that you do. And, 24 out of 100 is what we rated it at. Now, that's not awful. Obviously, you've put some work into the website. A 100 out of 100 would be a website like Google. They're obviously, doing a ton of marketing with their website and building it out. And so, on a 24 out of 100, looks bad, but you're actually not doing too bad. One thing that I would caution you on, and something that we could help you with, is that your pages are showing up on Google, but not Yahoo or Bing. Now, have you ever been on Yahoo or Bing?
Yeah, I've used Yahoo before. I don't really use Bing. But why wouldn't they be showing up?
Well, there's certain ways that you will build your website to be able to show up in those areas. And we can help you with those. We're partnering with both Yahoo and Bing, Google most of all, but we work with the other ones. And so I'd like to help you show up in those places. Now, also, your page rank actually with Google is a 3 out of 10, which is actually pretty good. And it's because you have a sitemap on your website and because you have a website that's been paid out until 2022. So kudos to you for that. One thing that is going to help you as well is that you have a website that's been around for about 4 years. And so Google's had time to actually index a lot of those pages, which
Okay.
means it's had time to find those pages. And finding those pages takes a long time. And so you've been doing a pretty good job. But let's take a little bit deeper look into your website. Now, who created your website for you?
Well, we had a guy that built it for us, but I think mostly it's just us making changes these days.
Yeah. And how much do you hate your website?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'd like it to be better, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I mean, we spent already a ton of time and money on it, and it looks decent,
Yep.
you know. But beyond that, I don't know how much more do you have to do to it.
Well, with your website, what I actually found is that it's not mobile. Now, do you know the difference between a mobile website and a not mobile website? Well, right here, it looks pretty good. You know, I'm not going to knock you at all on the website. But if you go and look on your phone, you'll see that you actually have to scroll in to even just find a phone number. You know, does that make sense? Now, if you look at this website here, however, you'll see that it's mobile responsive. And so it responds to any software that you actually use to look at your website, making it easy for customers to call you. Now, do you want customers to call you?
Yeah, of course,
I mean, it's an easy question, but making it as simple as possible for customers is only going to help it be more effective.
Okay.
And so that's a great thing that's going to be able to help your business in the future. But like I said, your website doesn't look bad. It's aesthetically pleasing, functional, and you have a clear service offering. But like I said, making it mobile is going to only help you. Also, with your website, do you own it or do you rent it?
I don't know. What's the difference?
Well,
I mean, we paid for it, and we've moved it before, so I'm assuming that we didn't lose it. So I'm assuming that that's ours.
Yeah. Now, do you pay for it every single month?
No, right. I mean, right now, other than I think we pay some for somebody to put it on their computer, host it. Yeah, so we pay that, and then if we need somebody to actually make some content changes that we can't do, then I have to pay.
Okay, sounds good. Well, what we can do, we do full custom sites, and so we do sites that you can go in, we'll teach you how to edit it, and it makes it super easy. And so you'll actually own that for forever, and it's a lot better long-term investment because you intend on having a website for quite a while, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't think you can go without one in these days.
Well, you really can't, and that's what we hear all the time. And so we can help you with that, but we won't talk about that now. I want to dig a little bit further into how we can be able to help you guys.
Okay.
Now, with mobile, like I said, mobile's getting huge. Making sure that you have a website that people can actually read is huge. 70% of people who go and look at a website on their phone are going to call to that company's website. Now, 70% is pretty big. I mean, if you had 70% of people who went to your website on their phone and they were calling you, that'd be a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a smartphone these days.
I've met a couple people who have flip phones still, but smartphones really the way of the future, and that's where everybody's going. Now, with those websites like we talked about, here, that's that one that we talked about with how it's mobile optimized. We'd like to help you with it. I'll show you some more examples later, but if you can look, you'll see phone number is going to be the top. It's a clear service offering, and it's a huge opportunity that we'd be able to help you with.
Okay.
Now, have you looked at your reviews online?
My reviews online? I mean, like people saying they like me or not?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay. Now, have you got reviews from people who just come in and will leave a note for you, or come and tell a friend that you did a good job for them?
Yeah, we get like thank you notes, and people say nice things about us.
Yeah. Well, people are doing that online too, and there's about 1 million different places where they can actually put posts and they can do comments about you. The important thing is having that all in the same place, because you and we're not going to be able to find 1 million different places where they're going to post, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so what we do is we look at where people are posting, and we take a look at what they're posting. So if somebody posts something bad or they post something good, you can be able to capitalize on that. And so if it is bad, then you can be able to try to fix it with that customer, or if it's good, tell the world. Because the more people that hear actual people saying things about their business who aren't just you, they're probably going to trust your business a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's what we can help with. Now, for social media, are you doing anything more with your Facebook?
What does more mean? I mean, we've got a Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that like it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, what do you need to do with it?
Well, who's in charge of it? I guess I should ask.
No, my
first.
daughter. She does things with it. She posts pictures and information, and I don't know that we do it all the time. We got plenty of other things to do, but
Yeah. Well, along with referrals, word of mouth is getting huge, and I'm sure it's huge for you. The 2014 word of mouth is Facebook, it's social media, it's Twitter, it's LinkedIn. And so what needs to happen is businesses who are like you are actually getting more into social media. Now you can see Haley, that competitor that you were talking about,
yeah.
they have about 800 likes, which means...
And what do I have?
And you have about 150.
Okay.
So what would more likes mean to you? mean,
I don't know.
Probably means nothing right now.
Right.
But if you had more likes, more people would be seeing every single post that you put, and then friends of theirs would be able to see those posts as well. And so people who have never heard about you, they see a post of your name. The more people that see that, the more brand awareness you're going to have in this area.
Okay.
And the more word of mouth you're going to have, which is
Okay.
going to only help your business.
Okay.
Now, we have a profile that we're doing for you right now. I think it's doing a great job. The main focus of it is to just get people to give you a call. Now, this is something that we've done in the past. I think there's some changes that we could make to it, adding pictures, posting it more on Google, because yes, I want people to go to your website, but ultimately, if they're just clicking on your website and leaving, what's it to you?
Mm-hmm.
So really what our focus is to get people to call you. And so that's what this conversion profile is for, and something that we can work with in the future.
Okay.
Now, on this profile, actually I looked and was able to see exactly how many people have called you from it, how many people have gone to your profile and things like that. Dex is completely transparent, and so you're not just throwing money up against the wall and hoping that it sticks. We provide real results. And so you can see here that your profile has actually been doing really well. Have you seen an uptick in calls that you've been getting since we started that profile?
Well, I mean, we've had a good year. I'm not always sure exactly where good comes from.
Right.
Other than, the economy's better and we've got more jobs going, and I'm assuming you guys are doing part of that.
Absolutely, and we are. And what I'd like to do after we're done going through this is take a look at that profile and go in and listen to some of those calls and see where those calls are coming from to really show you how effective this has been.
Okay.
One other thing we're doing for you is helping you with print. There's still a lot of people in this area who use the book. We find that about 40% of people are still calling from print ads because we track everything. And so you're able to see that as well. And this is a service area that we're currently looking at. So it goes all the way up to Zumbrota, gets down to places like Grand Meadow, and over to St. Charles, and over to Byron. And you probably see people within all those areas, correct? Okay. Well, this is what we're helping with. I think some changes we could make this year is adding numbers like the area code, because a lot of people who are new to this area might not know the area code. And so putting that in front of there is going to help you a lot. Now, is there any other changes that you would make to that?
Well, I mean, we can talk about that. I'm not sure exactly what all's in there, but there may be some things to fix.
Okay, sounds good. And we can go into that definitely in good a little bit. But the main thing is to make sure that you're clear and you're setting yourself apart, like before with everything else, setting yourself apart from your competition and showing why you're different.
Okay.
Now, we talked about a million different things here, but I think some things that you could really capitalize on are getting reviews from everywhere online, also with working with social media and making sure that people with that word of mouth are finding out what their friends are saying, so if they have questions, they can go and be able to find you. You're already doing the directory advertising with us, but another huge thing we could do is working with those search engines to make sure that you're showing up so that if people have a choice, you're there and you're that first person that they're able to pick.
Okay.
Now, would that make sense for you?
Well, it all depends on the money.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do is go back, put together a couple options for you, put together a proposal so we can talk about that and show you what the actual return on each of those investments is going to be. Would that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. What are you doing next Tuesday at 10?
I'm right here.
All right, sounds good. I'll stop by with them then.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.